Hello, this is Psyche. Make sure to tune in to the Unkles Podcast. Yoro Laka.
Yeah, whoa, welcome to the Uncles. Yeah, whoa, welcome to the Uncles. Whoa, Uncles think tis an Uncles thing. Pull up on the party and stuff facts we bring. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa, Uncles think tis an Uncles thing. Pull up on the party and stuff facts we bring. Yeah, whoa, yeah, whoa.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Uncles episode 99. Today I've got a very special guest. She's back in the building, Anna-Liza Mopio-Jane. She was with us for episode 46 where she spoke about her life growing up, but also her career through sports. So 20 years in the sports industry as a former athlete, elite athlete, but also representing Papua New Guinea at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, participating in 3 Commonwealth Games and also competing in 5 World Championships. And the best thing is we've got her back in the studio for episode 99. Anna-Liza, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited to be back.
Yes, yeah, no, we're really glad to have you back because I mentioned then back in episode 46 we spoke about your life and I guess how you came to be. But I think, this episode I'm really excited about because we're going to be diving into what you're currently doing and I guess catching up on the last few months because a lot has happened.
A lot has happened for me, yeah, and especially just in the last few months. So
yeah, so look, let's dive into it because I know at the Uncles we always do this. It's a weekly thing now. Everyone knows it. But what's your word of the week?
So I actually have a word for the year. So 2025, my word of the year is global. So for me, I want to make a global impact through my work, just through daily interactions. I think for me last year, I was a little bit scared of really stepping into the spotlight. And that's why I sort of gave my word of the year to be global because it's obviously global. So I'm stepping into that this year.
That's a really great word, and I think I'm probably guessing it sounds like it's one of your goals as well.
Yes.
But yeah, we'll definitely go into that later on. But I think, as I said earlier, this one's a bit different where you've already shared your story with us, and now we sort of just want to get back into or speak about, the work that you're doing. So to start off with, the first question that I've got here is sort of, take us back to the start. What led you to the path of becoming a breathwork coach and also a keynote speaker?
So it would have been, we're in 2025. So yeah, just over 2 years ago, I saw a breathwork competition, like to win a half-day breathwork experience. It was with Men's Medicine. So that's actually run by Lena Hola, and I won the competition. So I won a free half-day breathwork experience, and it was called the Women's Walk. And it was at the Gold Coast, Mount Tambourine, and I went into it not really knowing anything about breathwork, and I had the most intense and magical experience. And yeah, it sort of made me look at the world a little differently in terms of knowing that we are actually so powerful, not only in our own lives, but others, in how we interact with people and the experiences we have. And have you ever experienced breathwork before?
No, not to the full extent. I did do one session where I hopped on with yourself,
Yes.
which was, to be honest, it was a new experience for me. But I have met a lot of people actually that have spoken about how breathwork can definitely help you in situations where you might be too anxious or angry. and other emotions that breathwork can help you with. So I'm definitely keen and interested to hear what you have to say.
Well, so in that experience, I had like an out of body experience. I connected with my boo who had passed.
Wow.
And it was really interesting because a lot of women in that half day experience were obviously going through a lot of issues and a lot of pain, but all I felt was immense joy. Like I saw my boo, I was talking to her, and my cat that passed, and all I felt was like light and joy and just so much happiness. But then the women around me were experiencing so much pain. And it was so interesting because we were literally lying on the floor, on the ground, in Mount Tambourine, and experiencing this, like listening to the music, doing the breath work, hearing the birds, hearing the water and all of this. And yeah, it was just it was an experience that I'd never experienced before. And because of that, I was like, wow, like how did that happen? Like, why did that happen to me? And then, asking all those sorts of questions. And that sort of started my path to want to learn more about breath work. And then eventually finding a place where I could train to become a breathwork coach, and then for me to be able to facilitate that for others has been fantastic. And then it ties into the speaking as well, because in order to be able to reach more people, you obviously need to speak more about it, and becoming more confident in speaking about your own personal journey, but also how you can help others. And that's how the sort of speaking and the breathwork journey, it sort of was both working for me at the same time. And I love where I am at now because I can use the experience from my sport. So going to the Olympics, representing Papua New Guinea, now being a breathwork coach and speaking. So it all ties together for me to be able to teach others how to breathe like an Olympian. So that's my keynote. And then that's also my breathwork program as well.
Yeah, perfect. They sort of tie into each other.
Yes.
And look, that would have been a very special moment there when you first experienced that breath work at Mount Tambourine. Would you say that was the moment for you where you realized that it could sort of transform your life?
Yeah, well, definitely, because it's not something that I could even really explain. Like, how is it that you breathe a certain way and then you end up connected with a loved one who's passed? Like in the 3D sense, that doesn't really make sense. No. But like, I know what I experienced. I know what I felt. And again, for that to come up through breathing a specific way it literally blew my mind, because I was like, we're all breathing, every single day. And to be able to then understand, the science behind it, but then also to be open to the magic of something like that through breathing was, just really, really hard to put into words, but I knew I wanted to know more. And so then I started looking up all things breath work and, how can I experience that again? And then, and that's not the dangerous thing, but you don't want to then chase that constant feeling of, having such a profound experience like that. And I think breathwork, again, can be humbling in that it will show you what you need in that moment. Okay. So you might want something else, but it's going to show you something else because it is literally your own breath, your own mind, and your own body. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you have any other moments like that, after that first moment, and have other people around you experience moments like that as well?
Yeah, I've definitely had similar experiences to that, where I've been connected to my spirit guides, spirit animals, people that I don't know yet that have come to me through breathwork experiences, and also for me to go back into time. So seeing my younger self, like when I was, 5, and I'm like, I don't know how we want to get, but I mean, you know, going into past lives,
wow.
and traveling, you know, sometimes I've been flying just flying.
Wow.
In space. Well, I say space, but I don't actually know where I was, but that's sort of what I was experiencing. And then other times I literally will do a breath work and I'll fall asleep and then I'll wake up the next day. So, but I know that's my body just telling me I really needed a really good, deep, rested sleep. And then in terms of people that I've worked with, they've also had similar experiences. They've been able to have a forgiveness conversation with their parent, who's still living, but they were actually able to go back in a particular moment in time and forgive their parent for, you know, whatever it was. I've had other people that, a mum who was, you know, just feeling overwhelmed with kids and, you know, quick to anger, similar to me, you know, just juggling a lot of things, but realizing after doing some breath work that it was actually her partner that said, wow, usually this would like really make you angry, but you're not. And for her to then message me that, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, and that's probably what I use it for the most, is because I also get overwhelmed with my 2 energetic boys and having my business and now working full time as well. So if I'm taking a lot on, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's usually my loved ones that I'm sort of projecting that anger and overwhelm on. And it's just that reflection on myself to be like, actually, it's not their fault. And I can sort of take a step back, usually in the moment. Sometimes I recognize it before I'm about to do it, but then sometimes I'm literally yelling and I'm like, damn it. Like, sorry. Mummy's just tired and grumpy.
Well, that's, you know, that's a great segue to this next question, because I think in a lot of our cultures, like in PNG and the Pacific, especially with men, we're sort of taught to, you know, tough it out. And, you know, in that case there where you spoke about, you know, sometimes you identify your emotion before you actually, you know, do it. But there are times when we just do it without even thinking.
Yeah.
So how can breath work, you know, help break that stigma around sort of mental health, but also just emotional release?
Such a good question. And I think breath work it's all about that awareness and reflection. So you might be experiencing times where, you know, you're quick to anger and you're yelling or, you know, fighting a lot. But when you have that moment to actually go deep within yourself and just breathe, there's no one else around, that's your opportunity to actually literally feel it and be safe in it. And it's not easy, like it's not. And depending on external factors, how you were brought up around, you know, different feelings, you know, you're taught, you know, don't cry, or for women, you know, don't be angry. Why are you so angry? And, you know, it's those different stories that are told to us that we then take on as our own stories. And then with breathwork, you can actually realize that's not my story.
Yeah.
And be able to release that. And you don't even have to, you know, have that actual conversation with someone. It's more about just being aware of how you do feel. Where does that come from, and how can you let it go?
Yeah. Because I'm even just speaking from you know, my experience. You know, there were times when, you know, when you're a kid, you just get angry, and then you sort of lash out on you know, your loved ones, as you said, or people that are close to you at that time, but only because at the time I sort of didn't understand what the emotion was and why it was happening. Whereas I think something like breath work can allow you to calm yourself down, bring your heart rate down, identify, why am I feeling this way? And then it essentially is taking your mind off whatever it is that's going on, but also making you think about why it's happening.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, yeah, I love the way you just said that because, you're focusing on your breath. So you're not having to, even think about where it's coming from. And it's just being comfortable with however it is that you're feeling. And feelings feel different to everyone within the body. And breathwork allows you to really be aware of that. So for me, anger, it sits like here for me. That's where I feel it, because for me, it's generally because I'm holding myself back and I'm not saying something. So it sort of sits just underneath the throat.
Yeah.
And it's like a squeeze for me. And I've been able to articulate that because of the years that I've been doing breathwork now.
Yeah. Okay.
Whereas if you'd asked me that, 5 years ago, what does anger feel? I'd probably be like, oh, it's just like this.
Yeah.
Like I'm so much more in tune with how my body feels, and being able to differentiate anger to resentment, to shame, to guilt. There's so many different emotions, and people can sometimes get confused what they're even feeling because they don't know how to articulate that or how it feels in their body.
Yeah. That's a big one, because I think this next point, like a lot of men, especially in PNG, for guys that are listening out there, or anyone really, I think what I spoke about, my experience then with anger, I think it's a common thing, just from what I've seen growing up, and you see it on the streets, whether it's domestic violence or people just lashing out, but obviously they're not thinking about the actions or the consequences that are gonna happen after they had done
Anger
the
outburst. And I think even anger, it can usually be a mask for something else. So like the difference between how men are perceived when they're angry and women are perceived when they're angry, it's safer for men to feel anger rather than something like fear or abandonment or rejection. It's safer for them to mask that with anger because, masculinity, it's easier for them to project that.
Yeah.
And then for women, it's harder for us to express anger or to feel safe to feel anger. So then ours is more, we take on feelings of guilt. So anger can be a mask for something else.
Yeah. Wow. And what are some sort of, breathworks or some coping mechanisms that you've gone through that, can help with stress, anxiety and pressure, especially for people back home in PNG?
So the ones that come to my mind, which I like to do pretty much daily. So there's a clarity breath work and a balance breath work. Okay. So clarity breath work is box breathing. So SAS soldiers have used it, athletes have used it, and it's great for when you need clarity and you're about to perform.
Okay.
So I use this one right before I go onto stage speaking because my heart rate gets elevated. I was doing it before this podcast interview.
Ah, yes. The nerves are still there for the uncles.
Of course. It's any time I speak or I'm having an important conversation as well, or difficult conversation. So that breath work is inhaling through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale out the mouth for 4 seconds and hold for 4 seconds. So the reason why it's called box breathing is because it's even. So inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And that's great in terms of being able to clear your mind and focus at the task at hand. The other one I really enjoy doing is the balance breath work. So that's alternate nasal breathing. So where you inhale through one side of the nostril, exhale out the other, and then inhale through that same side, and exhale. So I just did that then, and I found that quite interesting. My right nostril was clearer than my left. So our left nostril is connected to our creative side of the brain, and our right is connected to our logical side of the brain.
Okay.
And so, like in that quick exercise, what did I say? I said my right was clear, and my left was blocked. So that for me is a signal that I need to have some more creativity and some more fun in order to unblock this.
Okay.
And then if my right's blocked, it's usually because I'm procrastinating and I'm not doing what I actually need to be doing. Like I'm distracting myself. And that's for me. It might look different for other people.
Okay.
And so for me, like having my right clear, it's probably because for me right now, like this is important. I just came from work and probably haven't done anything too creative or fun today.
You've been in the zone all day.
And that's a good reminder for me. So when I get home, I might, do something just for me, like a little dance party with my boys or something, or maybe some journaling. That's great for creativity as well. Yeah,
that's awesome. And the box breathing thing, I even heard, I think, Sonny Bill, he was talking about it. He would do it before sort of any big game that he had, whether it was for in rugby league or with the All Blacks. He spoke about just doing that box breathing technique before he ran out on the field, just to give him some clarity. Because, like you said, a lot of athletes, or even just us, a great example is, we were talking about off air about David Mead coming in, and three of us probably needed that at that point, because when David walked in, we were like kids in a candy store. We just couldn't hold ourselves back, and our emotions were so up here. But we were just lucky David brought us back down. But it's times like those where something like that, a technique like that, would be really useful, because you can. Well, I've done it a few times where you just think you're good, and then you get up to the front, and then it just goes downhill.
Yeah, and it's because it can be used when you're nervous and you want to feel not nervous. But then, like you said, in that instance with David Mead, like you were so excited, but you also needed to, calm those nerves so you could still focus as well. Yeah.
That's, I think that's a really good one, and thank you for sharing that with our followers. You guys just got a free tip there. So, look, you've worked with high performers now. You said you're with UQ now as well, and from athletes to business leaders, what's the biggest mindset shift you see when they commit to breathwork?
It's the biggest mindset shift. I think they realize their true power and potential in trusting themselves. Because I think in this day and age, because there's so much noise surrounding us with family, friends, social media, it can be hard to really trust yourself. And by utilizing breath work, you can learn to trust yourself and realize that you've actually got the power within. Like I see so many times people are asking other people for their opinions, like, oh, what should I do? Or, in Facebook groups, like, oh, this has happened, what should I do in this situation? Like they don't have any trust in themselves. It's one thing to go to someone who is your mentor, who has achieved things that you want to achieve, and ask them, how did you get there? But there's still that level of discernment that's needed to be able to trust yourself. So take on board what this other person's done, apply it to yourself, because we're all different and we all have different strengths, and to be able to trust yourself to then actually really rise to your own potential.
Yeah, wow. That's amazing. I really like that one, because just looking at my own experience as well, when you come up, especially in today's society, when there's a lot flying at you from different angles, you tend to get a bit sidetracked so easily. And there was a time probably, in my early 20s where I just lost a bit of confidence in myself. And that meant whenever that question would come up, I would always be looking for an easy way or looking for someone to answer it for me instead of looking internally and being like, actually, if you thought maybe 10 or 20 minutes longer, you would have found the answer to your question.
Yeah.
But instead, you're looking at the wrong places for it.
And then another way to look at it as well is if you take on board what someone else says, if it doesn't work out, it's their fault. Whereas
So true.
if you take that risk in trusting yourself and it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. It just means it didn't work.
Yeah.
It means you can try again. And we've all been, given different signs, when we're looking for an answer, like externally. And if you just quiet down and really listen, you will know if that's actually for you or not. And breathwork allows you that space to really trust yourself and do what you know is right for you. And I think with like my own business journey with speaking and breathwork, like my parents didn't understand that. And I love my parents.
Yeah.
And I always go to them for advice. But it was like, I just felt so strongly in myself that I was like, I love you, but I'm still going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
And that was extremely scary. But now I'm so happy that I trusted myself in doing that and following that, because it's opened the door to so many different other opportunities that I never would have imagined if I stayed at the time I was working part-time. Like obviously that was nice to have a regular income, but I needed to take that risk for myself to start a business. And then it's come around full circle because now I'm working full-time. I've got that salary, plus I'm doing something I love with my own business, speaking and breath work, and it all works beautifully together.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And look, before we sort of finish off, I think I like this question, and we ask it a lot to our uncles guests, but a lot of what we do is about giving back to the next generation, and hopefully in 5-10 years to come, they can look back on these episodes and go, oh wow, they have this conversation about breathwork, and hopefully by then it'll be this whole different thing, but they will see that we're probably the first ones to speak about it, especially in the PNG space. So look, what advice would you give to young people who are sort of trying to find their way, stay grounded, but also trying to manage their mental well-being?
So a simple exercise is simply just to stop what you're doing and inhale through your nose, exhale out through your mouth, and just allow yourself space. And you can literally do that before you go to bed, because some people don't like to do it, in front of other people. But just before you're going to sleep, just allow yourself a nice deep inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth, and just allow space so that you can actually hear yourself. And for people, that's going to be different. So some people might literally be able to hear something, they might feel something, they might see something, they might sense something. Whatever it is for you, if you allow yourself space for that to come through, you'll be able to listen and then implement it and use that as evidence. And I think that's sort of what I did when, I was making that decision about, starting my own business. I was like really nervous, but mostly excited about it. But then when my parents were like, no, obviously that hurt, but I was like, oh, I still feel like I should be doing this. And I allowed myself space. And then I think I got my first client very quickly. So that for me was evidence. I was like, oh, this is the path for me. It wasn't all smooth sailing, because then it was, then it was a long time between the next one. But everyone is everyone will have proof, but you've actually got to make space. And that's when you're able to, inhale, exhale, and have that space. And then you will be presented with different things and you'll know if it's for you or not.
Mm-hmm. And just on that as well, you spoke about breathwork and the future of it, but how do you sort of envision that, and also mindfulness fitting into PNG and Pacific communities in the future? Could it become part of schools, workplaces, and sports as well?
I mean, I don't see why not. And the interesting thing is, I think we were all doing it anyways. Like, you think about, how our ancestors would sing or dance or hunt. They would prepare, but how would they prepare? And even, something like mindfulness and, Western culture, I feel like they're actually looking back at what we did naturally. It's like we're all going back to our home, or, connecting to our roots, whatever that looks like. Your roots within your family, your roots in, a physical destination, whatever that is, we're all going back home, but home's also within yourself. So I do not see why we wouldn't be doing this. I mean, there's so much. I see more people doing breath work. I see more people being mindful, trying yoga, and within corporate settings, people are more open because, it could be perceived that there's more problems. So people are trying to find more answers, but all those answers are within ourselves. So that's why I say, we're going back home. Yeah,
no, I love that. And it's so funny because, it only takes, I think us as PNG people, Pacific people, we're very grounded or even mindful. I think when you wake up in the morning and you go outside and you look up at the sky, I don't think other people have that sort of same feeling as we do. Or it's so funny, every time when there'd be rain coming, and then I would say to my partner Liv, I can smell the rain, and she'll be like, what? It's like, no, I can actually smell the rain. And it's not it's because back home they would always say it, like my aunties and uncles, they always said, oh, rain's coming, and you could smell it. And that's how I can say it now. But you say that to anyone here and they just laugh at you like you're crazy.
I love the smell of rain, but that's coming back to the simplicity of it. And even, waking up and looking out in the morning, why else would people back home be so happy with so little? It's because they're appreciative and grateful of those moments that are simple but beautiful.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. Now, final question to finish us off. But what's one thing you hope every person walks away with after hearing you speak or experiencing your breathwork sessions?
I want them to know that they can trust themselves and do anything that they truly desire.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We'll finish on that. But how can people find you? Where can they sign up to your website? What's out there and what's coming up as well? You've got something exciting to share with everyone.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm just about to launch my membership. So it's the Powerhouse membership, where I'll be teaching people how to regulate, reconnect, and rise. So regulate their nervous system, reconnect to their truth, and rise to their potential. So that will be launching on Wednesday, the 16th of July.
Perfect.
And then you can also find me across all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Anna-Liza Mopio-Jane. If you're interested in trying breathwork, send me a DM and I'll send you a link to a free 5-minute breathwork audio.
There we have it, guys. Anna-Liza Mopio-Jane. We'll put her details in the bio so you guys can reach out. But thank you very much for joining us again.
Thanks so much for having me.